Welcome traders to this video analysis of Admiral Markets. Some questions we will review are whether Eurodollar has bounced and if the GU is ending its trend. Before we take a look at that though, let's first take a look at the disclaimer explaining that the material here is intended for a global audience. Please take into account that the info in this session may not be suitable for everyone. To get the corresponding info on charting conditions and other details, please visit admiralmarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact an appropriate entity. Also, trading for exchange at global financial markets is considered high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational and informational purposes only. By continuing watching this webinar, you agree with the disclaimer here and on the website. Thank you for your attention. First of all, as always, we're going to take a quick look at our webinars this week. We have a nice lineup. Today, the weekly FX recap. Then tomorrow, live trading lab. Wednesday, Forex strategy and expert advice. And Thursday, live trading lab and the pro learning lab. So a lot of good webinars like trading strategies with pivot points and a complete trading system. So take a look at that. Also, a premium webinar, by the way, on Sunday, multiple time frame MACD indicator. First of all, the euro dollar. Of course, we've been in a few weeks of consolidation here when looking at the most recent price action. This box right in here representing that sideways move. Now, that happened after a break of the support line here on the weekly chart. So, it could be a first indication of bigger retracement reversal to the downside, but we still need a more confirmation of that. This could still be retracement also for some upside. So, very important levels, the 135 support and the 137 resistance, as price has not been able to box out of that zone. And you can see that despite the weekly bearish candle, if we look at the daily chart, we see a hammer here when approaching the 135. So we pushed intraday through the 135, reaching about 134.90, but then we saw a upside and a wick on the daily chart. So that indicating some potential bounce there at that support level. And if that is true, we might go back to the top and retest 137, or maybe even go to these Fibonacci targets that are still resistances when we get there. So that's something that remains to be seen. It is so that we are back at the bottom, and we could get a bounce off that bottom. And with a wick like that, we can see that we are getting some momentum here, some bullish candles in the 4-hour chart. So we can see maybe that continuation of that momentum to retest this trend line, for instance, after which we could see a pause and maybe a follow through up to the bigger 137 top. So maybe some correctional zigzag to the upside like that is in the cards. Looking at the hourly, really no new information here except the fact that we had a fall that took place in seemingly looks like 5 waves. So we could maybe see a correction back in a 3-wave form, for instance, and use roughly these support levels right in here, about 135.20, 135, as a potential bouncing spot. Of course, looking for an actual candlestick wick pattern, etc., is always good for more confirmation. Next one on the list is the pound dollar. Pound dollar has been moving nicely in this uptrend channel indicated by the blue lines already for a year in a great uptrend. And most recently, of course, we had another break to the upside, the break of that orange line, and we've been moving up nicely. Also breaking 170.40, which is a monthly resistance. Not only breaking it, but hooking back and bouncing off it, despite that last week was a bearish candle. So we're having a bit of a mixture of analysis here because, yes, we had a strong continuation here within that uptrend channel, and we've had a hook back and bounce, but this has been taking quite a while, so this could be considered already a pretty big consolidation. So the question whether we continue with that uptrend is not so certain as it was maybe last week. Now, if you look at this consolidation, you can see big sideways move at the moment, so we might stay stuck in this consolidation for longer than we want. Of course, logically, the top and bottom here, crucial levels to have an idea about the up or downside potential. If we do break to the downside, by the way, I wouldn't say that the entire uptrend is toast, because we can still see support kicking in at this channel around 169, 169.50, and as long as we stay basically above the weekly bottom of 166.50, 167, obviously on the weekly chart, this is still bouncing territory to the upside. So, but despite that uptrend channel, obviously, if we do break 170, we do have some potential to retrace deeper. And if we break above the top, we might have some follow through still to higher levels, because on a weekly chart, there isn't much resistance to the upside. The AUDUSD is actually on the 4-hour chart showing a similar consolidation here ever since mid-June, just price going pretty sideways in a tight zone here, about 130 pips. Here too, waiting for a potential breakout one way or another. Here's the daily chart. You can see the upside break. We could maybe see price move to 96.30 roughly, which is an 886 fib. If it breaks the bottom of the current zone, we could maybe see a fall down to the next bottom here at 92. So those are the potential up and downward spaces. And then last but not least, the dollar yen also basically in a consolidation here with the double bottom and maybe a descending wedge like this, if one were to look at it like that. So a big level on this dollar yen is the 180, which is these bottoms right in here. And of course, if we do bounce to the upside one more time, that 103 would be a big resistance at 102.50. So there's not much space on this dollar yen. Thank you for joining our video analysis today. We hope to see you in one of the webinars very soon this week, and wish you all great trading. Cheers.